This is part 1 of LINQ to XML tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss how easy it is to create an XML document using LINQ to XML. First, let's understand what we mean by this term functional construction. Functional construction is the ability to create an XML tree in a single statement. So let's see how to create this entire XML tree in a single statement using LINQ to XML. But before we do that, let's look at the classes that we will be using to construct this entire XML tree. To create the XML document itself, we will use a class called XDocument. And within the XML document, this first line is called as the XML declaration. So to create this XML declaration, we use XDeclaration class, and here we've got an XML comment. To create an XML comment, we use XComment class, and here we've got student's root element, and the root element has got student child elements. So to create a root element or the child elements, we use this XElement class. And then notice this student element has got an ID attribute. So to create an XML attribute, we use XAttribute class. So all these classes are present in this namespace system.xml.link. So let's see how to create this entire XML tree in a single statement. Let's flip to Visual Studio. So here I have a new console application. First, let's bring in that system.xml.link namespace. And now we want to create an XML document. So I am going to make use of XDocument class. Let's call this XML document equals new XML document. And if you look at this class, there are 4 overloaded versions, but we are going to use this overloaded version which has got this params parameter. So we can pass as many arguments as we want. So the first thing that we want within the XML document is the XML declaration, and to create that we use XDeclaration class. And then notice this XML declaration has got the version, encoding, and whether if it's standalone or not. Okay, so let's create a new XDeclaration object, and we are going to make use of this overloaded version. So the version of the XML is 1.0, and the encoding is UTF-8, and it's a standalone one. So that will create this XML declaration. Okay, after that we want this comment, creating an XML tree using LINQ to XML. And to create the XML comment, we use XComment class. So we are now going to create an instance of XComment class, and then we specify whatever comment we want there. So what is the comment? Creating an XML tree using LINQ to XML. So let's copy and paste that there. So after the comment, what we want this root students element. So we are going to make use of XElement class. Okay, and what is the name of the element? It's going to be students. So students, and that root element should have this child element student. So we are going to now create another XElement instance. Notice that we are not closing the constructor of this class. Okay, so the XElement that we are going to create now is going to be child of the student's root element. Okay, so new XElement. Now the name of the element is going to be student, and if you notice, the student element has also got ID attribute. So we are not going to close that. Instead, we are going to create an instance of X attribute, and then what is the attribute name we want? We want ID is the name of the attribute, so ID, and what is the value? ID 101, so 101. So that should create the student element with ID attribute and that value. So once we have the student element, within student element we have got 3 more elements: name, gender, and total marks. So we are not going to close this constructor yet, so we are going to put a comma there and then create another new X element, and the name of it is going to be name, and what is the value that we want? Mark. So mark, and we want gender total marks. Okay, those two elements as well. So I'm just going to make a copy of that one. So here it's going to be gender, and this one is going to be total marks. Okay, gender is going to be male, total marks is 800. Okay, so now this should create the first student element. Now we want the second student element, so what I'm going to do is put a comma there and then take this and make a copy of it. Okay, that is going to be our second student. So for second student, the ID is going to be 102. Let's look at name, gender, and total marks. Name is Rosie, gender female, and 900. So name is Rosie, female, and 900 total marks. Okay, similarly we can create the other two student elements as well. So let's make a copy of this one, and let's make another copy. Okay, so the ID is going to be 103. Here the ID is going to be 104. So for the third student, name is Pam, female, 850. So here name is going to be Pam, female, and the marks are 850. And the fourth student is John, male, 950. So John, male, and the marks are 950. So now we have all the four student elements. Now we need to close this root element constructor and the XML document constructor. So we need two more closing brackets, and that's going to end with a semicolon. So now we have the XML document. Okay, so notice this entire statement is a single statement. Okay, now let's actually save this XML data to an XML file. Let's actually save it to this folder itself, the project folder. So let's open the project folder in Windows Explorer. So that's the complete path where we want to save the file. So this XML document object has got save method. So XML document dot save, and to this we specify the name of the file. So then the path is going to be that, and then within that let's call the file data.xml. And since we are using a backslash here, there is no escape sequence called \d, so that's why it's giving that compilation error. So use a verbatim literal, or you can use double backslash, whatever you prefer, but I prefer using verbatim literal because this makes your code more readable. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run this. So we don't get any output, but it should have created that XML document. And to see the XML document, click on this icon, show all files. So notice that we have the XML document. Now when we double click that, look at this, it has created an XML document that looks like this. We've got the XML declaration, XML comment, students is the root element, and within that we have got four student elements, and each student element has got name, gender, and total marks as the child elements. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.